Hello once again, how's all doing? So this is a Hornby Schools Class locomotive that was sent to me by a chap called Eddie. He said it runs a bit jerky and sometimes jams up, so that doesn't sound too good. Let's see what happens when we turn on the power. Ooh, well that doesn't sound good at all. Sounds like the gears are slipping or maybe even the motor's popped out of position or something. So there's no point in trying to run this anymore, it might just cause damage. So we'll have to shove it into the shed and get it to the bench and see what's what. In you go. Oh, yeah, the wheels are turning. Not good. So a schools class locomotive. Haven't had one of these before. Very nice model this, and a very nice locomotive, the schools class, I think. Being Southern Railways, maybe a wee bit out of place in my layout, but yeah, I would still quite like to have one in the BR livery like this, I think. And this model is particularly nice. The locomotive is called Blundells, and I love all the brass work on it. It's really nicely detailed. Really nicely detailed cab as well. But of course, all that detail means it's all super fragile. When I took this out of the box after it arrived, the chimney had come off and there was all sorts of little plastic pieces rattling about in the box. So I've put all those in a little plastic bag, and I'll send them back to Eddie. But yeah, the fact that this was it sounds like the gears aren't engaged or something there. That's not what Eddie described. Eddie said this was kind of lurching and jamming up. So I think this is possibly had a bit of a drop in the post, I think. If you're sending a locomotive in the post anywhere, package it really, really well, and also, splash out on as quick a delivery as you can. The longer something's in the post, the more likely it is to get damaged. So get it wherever it's got to go as quickly as possible, and package it up really, really well. Right, okay, so we've got a tender here wired up. Let's get the sponge because this is all going to be super delicate. There is a special little tool you can get to do that, but it's easy enough. Right, so I think this tender has pickups, which I can see are not making contact with the wheels particularly well, so that will need sorted. The front bogey's got pickups, and one of them is not making contact with the wheels. And that one doesn't make contact when the wheel goes that way. I don't see the pickups on these wheels, but there's traction tyres on those two wheels. I think we'll get this front screw out first and see what happens. Take this drawbar screw off as well. Chances are that's holding on the body. Maybe not. Right. Going to come out of that. Yep, here we go. There we are. Yeah, the motor's loose. Get that. So at least the gears aren't broken or anything, it's just the motor's jumped out of position. We'll see what we can do about that. Lots of static grass we'll need to clear out. What I want to be able to do is disengage this motor from the gears enough so the wheels will run free. There, I'm going to get that out, that clip at the front. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. Right. Yeah, there's something very wrong with the valve gear, I think. Right, okie dokie. So what's the issue? What's the problem? So I think somebody's had this apart and put it back together wrong. This piece here should be going in that direction. So I need to somehow get this set right. That's it like that. Right, has that made a difference? There we go. A fair old bit of oil in here. Clean that up a bit. Some fresh silicone grease in there. And then we'll pop this motor back in. Like that. Right, I'll take this underframe off and we'll see what's going on with the pickups. If there are any, there must be pickups, I would have thought. Right, okay, out that comes. There's the pickups. One's on the outside of the wheel. Yeah, they're not making very good contact. So we'll give these a wee bend out the way. Get a little bit of fresh oil into the axles, just well, we've got access to them. This pickup here keeps popping out. I'm just going to put a piece of tape across just to hold it in place while I put the underframe back on. To fit this on, I've got to negotiate all these little pipes. That's got to come up and over. Oh dear, oh dear. Right, up and over. Right, we're all there. Okay, these pickups in the front bogie are all bent as well. I think if we bend that like that, will that do it? It'll have to be bent down a bit as well. That's better. Plug that in. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. Right. We'll just unplug this again and then we'll have a look at the pickups on the tender, because I don't think that they're making very good contact. And that one certainly isn't. And then there's that one. That's okay. That's not making contact. Yeah, okay, so we'll need to try and get into these pickups. I'm guessing there's a chip in this tender as well. There it is, with its blanking plate. But I still can't see the pickups. There's 5 screws in there that looks like we're going to have to undo. It seems excessive. 5 screws. That takes that out, takes the wheels out. And then I've got access to the pickups. Just give them all a wee bit of a bend. That's better. That'll be better, I think. I don't know why there's 5 screws in that plate. I'd have thought 3 would have done fine. There is one good thing to say about some of these newer models, is that there's more reliance on screws than clips, which is a good thing. Right, okie dokie. Where's my dusty brush? There it is. Get all the static grass out. Right, okay, we'll get the manky brush in here to try and get rid of some of that static grass that's everywhere. This connecting wire seems awful long. I mean, look at that. It only has to be about that long. You know, the one on my J36 is nowhere near as long as that. I don't know if I can shove any of it up into the locomotive. It's right next to this thing. Let's see. Yes, we can. There we go. I can see the wire's going to get pulled out every time you couple or uncouple the locomotive to the tender. On my J36, it's kind of, a bit more permanently coupled. I'm just looking at the front bogie of this thing because it seemed to be not moving too freely, and it's very poorly engineered. There's a little stem here that fits into a slot. It's held down with a little spring, and then it's held in place with a little piece of clear plastic tubing. I don't like that at all. And then it's connected up with a couple of wires to the pickups. So there's a bit too much going on there. I just want this to be freer moving, because I was noticing if I turned it slightly from side to side and moved it, back and forth in that slot, it was sometimes sticking. So this little plastic stem here, I'm going to put a washer over it. Like that. And then we'll put the spring on. Like that. And then I think we'll put another washer on the top. And then we'll fit that into the slot. So basically what I'm trying to engineer here is the washer will be sliding back and forward underneath that little slot rather than the spring. Because it was just not efficient the way it is. Try and fit this little bit of plastic tubing on the top. There, right, okay. So basically what I've done is put a washer at the top and the bottom of the spring, and that now slides and moves a bit better. We'll put a little bit of oil on this as well, just to lubricate it. Okay, let's try that. I'm just cleaning the wheels with contact cleaner. For wheels that aren't too dirty, it's very effective actually. Gives them a nice polish, takes all the carbon stuff off. I don't like the way this drawbar fits on. It's like the Bachmann ones, it just kind of sits there and just drops off very easily. I've got a little plastic bush here I'm going to put on this drawbar at the tender there, just to hold it in place. I think that's sorted. Let's go and pull it out the shed and see how it runs. Okay then, out she comes. So that's this Hornby Schools Class running. A really nice looking model, but as with a lot of these newer models, it's way too delicate. You know, just don't touch the valve gear or the wheels on this when you pick it up. It could easily get messed up, and I think that's maybe been the problem in the past with this. So my advice to Eddie is to treat this very, very carefully and not to touch the wheels at all if you can help it, especially when picking it up. So yeah, a lot of the pickups weren't making contact with the wheels and there's a lot of static grass in there, but that's all sorted and it should be fine now if treated with care. I'd really like the motor to be more securely mounted on this, but it's such a tight fit into the body, I'm not quite sure how that could be achieved really. But if this were mine, I think I'd experiment a bit and try to get that motor 100% secure, because it does move a little and that does affect performance. Also, I think a flywheel would make a huge difference to this, make it run super smooth. But hey, it's a China-made model, so you know, but still a very lovely looking thing nevertheless. Anyway, I'll get it very carefully packed up and sent back to Eddie, and I'll catch you later, folks.